laying the groundwork because I said there were several Kautsky stores, and there actually were. Let me. This one, you may remember where Heath Supermarket was at Thompson and Madison. Well, this building, there's a little discrepancy in the two articles about this, but according to this, Frank Kautsky opened up this store. It was Long Acres Grocery in 1907 in this building. Now, he also, in 1917, he moved down and opened up a smaller store, actually at the southeast corner of Madison, where the regular Kautsky store that we all remember is. There was a small frame building, and he opened up a store there. Well, the Waddell family had, let's see here. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. I'll tell you, it's terrible being a Luddite. This is another view of that store. This was taken based on the age of the car. That's like a 30s model car, so I'm guessing this was probably in the 30s. I'm going to try and back this up now. This was the store. This is one of my favorite pictures, and I'll tell you the reason why here in a minute. This was taken about 1925. But to back up, this was originally Waddell's grocery store. They opened this in 1907 there where the Speedway station is now at Madison Network. Well, Kautsky had this smaller store across the street. Well, Waddell was moving out of there, so Kautsky bought him out, and in 1923, Frank Kautsky took over the store. The fellow here in the center, I'll point this out, the guy right in the center, that's Frank Kautsky, about 1923. The guy in the white apron next to him is not a Kautsky, not related to any of the Kautskys, but he's my grandpa. And, he actually went with the store. He started to work for Waddell's in 1917. And when Frank bought the store, he got Grandpa with the deal. And Grandpa was a butcher. And he worked there until he retired right before Frank built the new store in '49. So he worked as Frank's butcher and did a little bit of everything there for all those years. And but I always loved that picture. Well, this is almost as confusing as trying to keep track of all the Kautsky relatives, but so we're now talking about the third Kautsky store. The one at Thompson Road, then they came up and had a small frame store across the street. Then they swapped, then they bought Waddell's store. Well, many of you, if you're familiar with Edgewood or the old-time Edgewood, there was a Ma Wayman's confectionery years ago. And that was located, they moved in after Kautsky's bought this store. Wayman's opened up a confectionery and variety store in that little frame store where the regular Kautsky store that we remember was. Okay. Well, then Wayman's decided to move to a bigger building, which is where what we call the Woodcroft shops are now, next to Shonk Sunoco Station up there, if you remember that. There was a Woodcroft pharmacy, and there was a bakery and a butcher shop.
Post office.
And next to the other side of the post office there. Well, Wayman's moved up there. So when Wayman's moved up there, Rudy Rail, who already had a store up at University Heights, he opened up a store where Ma Wayman's was in the old building, which had been Kautsky's before it was Wayman's. Is everybody clear on this?
Yeah. Who's on first?
Well, that's about like it. when I'm reading all this, I'm thinking, wait, and then I had to go back and read it again. But Rudy Roo, anyway, Rudy Rail, then when Kautsky's built the new store in '49, he moved over into this building that you're looking at here. So he stayed there for a number of years, and then it was a loan company for a while, and it was finally torn down in, I believe, '69, late '60s, somewhere like that. Now let's see, we got this. I love this picture. Here's Frank Kautsky sitting at his office there in the grocery store. Yeah, I think that's probably Hazel in the back there. Notice the adding machine. What's that?
She said, I hope so.
Well, it might have been.
It's not Lucille.
It's not Lucille. Okay, well then that's Hazel. Notice the high-tech Allen and Wales adding machine on his desk there. Okay, now here's a good shot of the store that we remember. This was actually taken in '69 because you can see it's taken. If you look on the right side of that picture, you'll see a little angled roof building. Well, that was a United gas station. And then I think it was an Imperial for a while, and then later they tore that down and put a Speedway in. But this was after they'd torn down this old Rudy Rails building. But you can see 1969 there.
Where was the bicycle shop?
The bicycle shop was south of there, in a building to the south of that. I'm going to back this up and show you something. If you look at the extreme left side of this picture, you'll see another building over there. That was where the bicycle store was in there, right next door to that. That was George Dudgeon's original bike shop.
Right, okay. I didn't realize this grocery store was right next to it.
Now, here's a little bit of advertising from Don Kautsky. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, this isn't real, but it's my thanks to you are real. I do sincerely appreciate your kindness and your business, Don Kautsky. And they were active in the community. Here's Don, and that butcher I'm thinking is maybe Byron Moore. Okay, I thought so. He was a butcher, and this picture was taken in '67, and they had purchased this prize steer at the county fair auction.
It looks like
Okay. Oh, well, I know her. That's why it does look like her. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, and then this is the last one of the pictures that I have. This was from this article where they had closed the store. Old friends, Paul Heath, owner of Heath's Market, talks with Don Kautsky, owner of Kautsky's Market, which closed its doors last Saturday night after many years at the Southside location. A number of Kautsky employees will work for Heath, who also has purchased the store stock. But that's something I also wanted to ask. Who in this room used to get groceries at Kautsky's? Okay, that's quite a few. Well, I can understand why we did.
We just went to the house at 8.
Well, it worked. Same principle. We ended up with the same food. And who here worked at Kautsky's sometime or other through the years? 1, 2. I mean, other than the family, we know the family helped there. But okay. Well, this concludes my little talk on the stores. If you want to know a lot more about this, we've got. I don't have any copies, but if you really want, you can give me your name and address, and I can give you a copy of this article, which tells all about the Edgewood and the early store history. Back in the day, it was amazing. Grandpa used to tell stories about that. He would open up the store at 5 in the morning so he could sell interurban tickets.
Yeah.
And he lived on Dudley, just a few blocks away. So he'd walk over at 5 in the morning, open the store, sell tickets, work during the day. Sometimes he would go out and take orders from some of the people around the neighborhood, go back and then deliver their groceries that afternoon. And In later years, Jerry's going to start talking about, as soon as I get out of the way here, about the Indianapolis Kautsky's basketball team. And I will also mention that my grandpa was mentioned in this book as the butcher that drove the truck around to the games with some of the family members and some of the neighbors and some of the people in it. My mom remembers sitting on a crate in the back of that truck going to some of the Kautsky games. And well, Grandpa, Mom always enjoyed going to those games. She was just out of high school, and she got to go to some of the games around. Yes.
I'd be curious how many checkout lines there were at the grocery store. Does anybody remember how many checkout lines?
Two? Okay. And they were probably both open as opposed to Kroger's, which but that's a whole nother story.